So in the coming weeks, as I get into this space of conversations we need to have, but obviously, we're too pretentious to have them, I will be having a regular session with a lawyer to unpack the things that we need to know. And especially the things that we seem to talk about at this level, but when they actually, when the rubber meets the road, the person who gets into that space doesn't know where to start. So starting next week, I will definitely be unpacking the ruling in court about, divorce and that 50-50 thing. It's very important you understand. And the other thing I'm definitely going to tell, the lawyer we will be speaking to is to take us all through the contractual sense of marriage. A lot of us think, marriage is a social event. It isn't. It's actually a legal undertaking and it's a contract. And what does that mean? I've also noticed, and I say this very openly in the office, that a lot of young people under the age of 30 are divorced. Their marriages either didn't last 2 years, a year, or even 6 months. It's true of a lot of young people, and a lot of them actually in the public eye. What do you need to know about that process? Because by the way, the fact that you decide you can't do this after 6 months does not mean that you just can go ahead and do other things. Let's just say it takes 2 years. And that's for you to start the process, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that the lawyer unpacks that. I think something else that I have actually sent her homework to look up on is something that I find is more and more becoming a strange need in the space of having children. The first time it caught my attention, it was actually a story I heard about Sierra, the musician. And she's taking Future back to court because Future is not living up to his mandate and responsibility to do his visitation with his young son. But that was far removed, it was in America. And then I think about the same time, I noticed that Zari had commented that Diamond hadn't seen his children. And then I paid attention. I don't pay a lot of attention to that because I find it's all noise, but that caught my attention, okay? And then closer to home, I right now have 3 friends. One has a child, the other has 2 children, and the other has 3. And their biggest gripe is that they're not asking for any monetary support from the men they had children with or the men they're estranged from, or in the case of one of them, divorced from. The thing that they ask is that that man commits himself to spending time with his son, and in the case of one friend, sons. Now, obviously, the reason I'm saying I've given my lawyer the homework to come back to me is on one thing and one thing alone. Can you legally compel a person to be in another person's life? You see, when it's monetary, it's possible. It is, because the court just compels you to pay a certain amount, and you do. I mean, either it will be deducted at source, but it will be done. But how do you get someone to engage with a child? To honor a promise to see that child on Saturday at 9 a.m. and where that child sits waiting and will not leave because dad is coming. We have to have that conversation because it's very new to society. We didn't live in a world until a couple of years ago where women were like, no, I'm not asking for money. I want him to be in his child's life. Yeah, so we'll unpack that. And once we unpack those 3 things, any other questions you have, I think the rumor mongering and the things we do on Twitter and on social media and on WhatsApp need to end. My people perish for a lack of knowledge, and it is true, we lack legal understanding. And the sooner we get it, the better. It will mean a lot less wet pillows and a lot less bitter and catty women, okay? Good.